morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you all for tuning into this platform. I am so excited to talk to all of you with regards to what my career interests are in the field of social work. So, I have a series of questions that I'm going to be answering for you all so that you can get a better understanding of me and my career journey. So, the first question is, what kind of social worker are you, and what type of training did that involve? So, the first question, I've worked at the Department of Corrections and at the Department of Children and Families. I currently work for the Department of Social Services. In my 10 years as a social worker, I have worked with vulnerable and underprivileged populations, a population that I'm very familiar with. I provide services and direct clients to appropriate community supports. I also work part time as a life coach to teenage boys and child protection funded group homes. I'm continuing to grow daily and I'm now working towards achieving my clinical license in mental health counseling. I plan to specialize in human relationships, LGBTQ issues, individual and family trauma, and career counseling. So, a typical day for me is having to a morning talk with myself when I first wake up in the morning, then heading into work and greeting my coworkers, then taking a look at my work schedule to see if there is work that I need to complete or not. I then proceed to process government funded medical applications through Access Health and SNAP applications. I also process, cash assistance applications, so assisting in determining eligibility for a client with regard to receiving benefits for cash programs. As a life coach, my typical day is checking in with adolescent boys in a group home setting and seeing how either their day or their week went. I also provide motivational interviewing techniques and DBT skills. I also provide life skills support to young adults. What made you decide to go into your field, and did you always know it was something that you wanted to do? So when I first began college, I wanted to be a pediatrician because my family decided this was the career for me. Not until I finished my undergraduate degree and worked for a year in the field of education did I truly reflect on what I would like to do. I enrolled in a master's degree program at Central Connecticut State University with a focus in higher education and mental health. The position that I held in the field of higher education at the time was a temporary position that was supposed to transition into a full-time permanent position. However, the recession hit and I was the first person to be laid off. I immediately thought of what I could do to make myself more marketable. I applied for an internship through adult probation. I knew in my core that I wanted to help people in underprivileged communities, especially with the people that were always overlooked and misunderstood. During my time as an intern for the adult probation, I obtained a position as a mental health assistant through the Department of Correction. At the Department of Correction, I learned, how to, individual trauma and family trauma can negatively impact a person's, life. After about 3 years at the Department of Correction, I outgrew the position and applied for a position working with adolescents and children committed to the Department of Children and Families. Working in this position allowed me the opportunity to work with children and families and understand how trauma begins and how generational trauma is perpetuated through different systems. I then transitioned to the Department of Children and Families and worked as a social worker. I worked with a diverse array of children and families. My passion was working with the adolescents and repairing the trauma with immediate and extended family members. I am currently working towards obtaining my professional clinical license as a mental health counselor so that I can begin working and owning my own work. What courses in college or high school did you find most beneficial in preparing you for your career path? So, a beneficial course for me that I took while obtaining my master's degree was college development, where I developed my own college. It was a great opportunity for me to think globally about what goes into running a college while meeting the needs of students holistically. I also appreciated my mental health assessment class because it provided me the tools to assess a client's needs. I also enjoyed the interviewing techniques course because it developed my skills in engaging clients in a clinical setting as well as in a community setting. It also helped me to begin becoming a better active listener. So, active listening takes a lot of skill and technique, which I'm very happy to have known and understand that skill because it takes, some summarization of what a client is telling you, paraphrasing what a client is telling you, so that the client can feel validated that you are understanding what kind of services they need and how to best address their traumatic issue. So I was involved in first year college programs, especially the programs that serviced Black Americans and minority college students. I was also involved with the Face for AIDS program, where a group of students fundraised money to provide children in Africa medical care. I also served on the Educational Review Board for Community Standards. I weighed in on decisions of whether or not a student should be expelled from the university or given another chance to remain at the university. And usually, a student was either on academic probation or was involved in some type of, substance abuse issue or, starting some type of, trouble on campus. So I got to weigh in on those conversations. How did you maintain focus to study and prepare for your exams and other coursework in your professional school? So I worked full time while attaining my master's degree in counseling. I worked Monday through Friday. It was very important for me to focus on schoolwork and work during the week. I would take a day off on the weekend, and I did not see my friends for months at a time because I needed to focus most on my work that I had. My master's degree program consisted of writing a lot of papers. I did not have really many tests or exams that I can remember. I did have a final dissertation where I had to focus on a topic. My topic that I focused on my dissertation was the importance of counseling in African American communities and developing resources and tools to better meet the needs of African American male students with regards to mental health. So I am currently working towards obtaining my professional license in mental health counseling, as well as in alcohol and drug counseling. I want to open my own practice and work for myself. Right now, I am mastering the skills needed to better support, my clients' needs. So a key point that I would like for all you viewers to take away from today's message is to be authentically yourself and whatever you choose to do, because people will respect you more than being something you're not. I cannot emphasize this enough. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to working with one of you, two of you, or all of you. Thank you so much. Bye.